All right, welcome. My name is Andrew Waldom. I'm the chair of the Personal and Family Financial Planning Program. And today in the studio, I have Mackenzie and Jason, students that are in the PFFP program. And today we want to explore a little bit about internships and how they got their internships. I'm curious to know a few things. So I'm going to start, Mackenzie, with you. And the first question is, first of all, have you interned?
Yes, so I have had 2 internships here in Tucson at Cardinal Point Financial Group and Presidio Group Wealth Management.
Okay, so 2. So tell me a little bit about those 2 companies. What kind of companies are there? What's their size and that sort of thing?
So Presidio Group, I would say, is smaller, but they are rapidly growing. They have 3 different office locations, 1 here in Tucson and then 2 in California. And then Cardinal Point is a group within Ameriprise. So a larger groups kind of spread out throughout the U.S. and they have a lot of remote workers, so a much larger team as well.
Okay, so great. So a couple different internships, and you're doing both of those right now, actually,
Correct.
while you're in school. Okay, so that's a lot for you.
Yeah, but they work with me really well in managing it with schools, so I'm able to get scheduled in for observations in the office, time to practice data entry, all of that, as well as make sure I'm able to get to my classes.
That's great. All right. And Jason, what about you?
So I'm currently interning right now for RBC Wealth Management at their Tucson location up in Royal Valley.
And RBC stands for?
Royal Bank of Canada. Yes.
Royal Bank of Canada. Yep. Okay, yep. So you're there right now. So
yep.
And you just started a few weeks ago?
I started a couple of months ago, actually.
A couple of months ago.
Yep.
Okay, but you're also doing it during the semester.
During the semester, yep.
So how's that going, managing?
Definitely at first it was an adjustment for sure, especially because I'm in office every day.
Okay.
So the big commute thing has been new to me, and just balancing the work schedule with work schedule has been an adjustment. But now that I'm 2 months into it,
you figured out a rhythm and it's working
100%,
okay.
Yeah.
So Jason, for you, how did you get this internship?
Mm-hmm.
Like what was the process like to get it?
Yeah, so it kind of all started back to our first Springboard event last February, I believe it was.
And Springboard, just so people know if they aren't familiar, what is that?
Yep, so it's an event that the PFFP program puts on, and it's a good way for recruiters, companies to come and just meet our students and network and hopefully end up getting an internship. So
okay, and so you went to that, and
I did go to that. So I actually met Gustavo, who works for RBC there. I believe he's actually a sponsor as well for the program. Mm-hmm. He was the first person I talked to. We had a really good long conversation. Mm-hmm. And then I left that, got slightly in contact with him, but not fully. And then this summer, actually, Cassandra provided me with a long list of all the firms in Tucson. She's been a big help throughout the process. Mm-hmm. So I called every firm on the list. I got a bunch of no's and some yeses. RBC was one of the yeses for an interview. However, I did have to stay persistent with them. Mm-hmm. They didn't move as quick as some of the other ones, but I always knew I wanted RBC ahead of some of the other firms that I was reaching out to. So I kind of not necessarily didn't take no for an answer, but definitely stayed on the ball with them. Mm-hmm. Went through the interview process, and actually Gustavo recognized me because he wasn't there for the first interview, but he was part of the second one. And he recognized me from the Springboard event.
Cool.
So that was a big connection, and
that helped.
I personally think it helped a lot. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you were you had to really beat the bushes a little bit. Like
it was a long process,
were out there
for sure. Yeah.
Making calls, talking to people, but it paid off.
It did, yeah. It wasn't easy, but definitely worth it. And
that's great. Mackenzie, what about you? How did you? So you got these 2, but similar type process, or?
Yes. So I actually met both firms at Springboard, the Springboard event. So that's how I initially met them. I talked to them there, and then I got their information, and I just made sure I followed up with them immediately, set up interview times, and then just kind of got the ball rolling from there. Okay. I did several other interviews as well from people that I had met at Springboard and got some offers that way as well. I would say Springboard is probably the best way to look for internships. So
it sounds, so you really got some interviews and the internships right out of Springboard. Jason, you had a connection, but you also then did some of your own work as well. What has been the biggest takeaway? Like if you were to think like, now I'm in the internship, I've been doing it for a while. Like, do you see it as a valuable piece as far as getting you career ready?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you learn obviously a lot in the classroom, but seeing or having it applied in real life, you notice you learn so much more.
Okay.
So that'd be the biggest thing for me is each day I leave work and I am shocked how much I learned in that day. It's also cool using what you've learned in the classroom and applying it at the internship. Because I think the biggest thing for me was making sure that I felt that I was ready or that I was meant to be there. So building the confidence was a big part, but the classroom kind of translates into building that confidence for the internship.
That's great. How about you, Mackenzie?
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. Getting to use what we have learned in the classroom and apply it in real life cases with real clients. It's been a very amazing experience, and I think it definitely has prepared me to go full time starting in the spring.
That's a good point. So you feel after the class and the internship that you now have that confidence to make that transition into the workforce?
Yes.
Okay, that's cool. So what would you say if you were to give a couple tips for students that haven't found an internship yet? What would you encourage them to be doing to get that internship?
Definitely build up a resume. Look, pull your experience, volunteer work, awards, whatever you have, pull that together. And then there's all kinds of events that PFFP and Norton have to work on your resume, work on your interview skills, all of those things. I would recommend using all of those. And I even got one interview from one of my professors in the program. So connect with your professors, talk with them, and they're great resources and they will probably know something and be able to help you out.
Okay, great. Thank you. How about you, Jason?
Again, everything she said is exactly what I would say, but I'd also say utilize Handshake. I think that's a really good resource that a lot of students kind of go under the rug sometimes. I also recommend kind of adding on to building the resume, getting involved outside of the classroom. I think is a huge thing. A lot of big companies want to see that. As well as just having connections with your teachers. They'll help you way more than you realize. And I think especially in the PFFP program, I've experienced it that they help you more than any other teachers I've had. So I would definitely say having that relationship with your teachers is also a big benefit and will help you.
Great. Well, thank you both. I really appreciate your time today and have a great rest of your day.
Awesome. Thank you. You too.